Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. I'm going to do a video on this coffee pot. This coffee pot I found, and it is absolutely disgusting. It's got actual coffee stains big time in it. The burner has got a bunch of stains. Where you put the coffee, where you put the water, everything's just kind of, this thing's been heavily used for a while. I'm going to see if we can clean it up. Now, I know this stuff works, and I know vinegar works. We're going to put vinegar. We're going to use vinegar on the water side. We're going to put it down in there and clean the burner, clean the heating element that heats the water. We're going to use this. You do not put this in a coffee pot and back here. It's only used for cleaning the coffee pot here to get the burnt coffee stains off. So we're going to see if that works. And then we're going to try some CLR. I might have to use some CLR on this burner. I'm going to save the CLR for last. I want to see if I can just clean it with this and vinegar. And I'll keep you updated on the progress. Okay, so we're going to start with the coffee pot. And this cleaner, this Clearly coffee, is made specifically for burnt coffee on coffee pots. They sell it at Amazon. It's $5. You don't need a whole lot. We're going to put some in there. And I can... on there pretty good, looks like. Okay, it's starting to do a little bit of work. Looks like a lot of that might be on the outside too. Okay, so the instructions say you might have to get a scrubby and go in there and just scrub it. Okay, so it does have a lot of burnt coffee on the sides, and the sides are a little harder to get. You got to get that solution up on the side, and then it starts to come off. So that's where the brush comes in handy to get the solution. The solution's doing all the work. You just have to get the solution everywhere you need it. Okay, I kind of suggest using an old scrubby. I don't know if this one's going to come clean or not, but it is really coming off the sides. I'm kind of holding it. I'm holding it to the side, and then I'm scrubbing it and getting the solution all around the sides, and it's really starting to get off the sides. Now some of that bottom burnt, I think that's on the outside, so we'll clean that in a little bit. Okay, I think I've got the inside pretty well clean. This stuff it's kind of like black water now. So what I did, I filled it up with a bunch of water with that old solution in there just to kind of clean it even some more. So my brush is coming clean, but this, I know it's really diluted now, but I'm just going to use that to even kind of clean it some more. Okay, so now I'm just rinsing it with a bunch of soap and water now to kind of get that chemical out there. I'm going to do a bunch of rinsings and washings like this. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the bottom side of this coffee pot. I recommend using some old towels. I think this stuff will stain your towels. Okay, so I'm just going to squirt a little bit on. Like I said, it doesn't take much. It might even be good to let it soak for a little bit. So here's a little trick. We're going to put some on there. You do need to let it soak for a little. This one's on there pretty good. I'm not sure if that's rust or coffee. But we're going to put this towel on there now. And now it's going to soak in there, and the solution should stay right where it's supposed to. Okay, so I've got an old bucket here. We're going to let some of these parts soak in this bucket with some of this stuff. So I'm just going to spray the stuff on there. And then what I'll do is I'll use that brush to kind of brush it on everywhere, and kind of use that scrubby brush to kind of scrub it everywhere. Okay, so I do recommend wearing gloves. I was kind of getting some of that solution on my hand a little bit. It was kind of stinging a little bit, so I would recommend wearing some gloves. I think the directions recommend wearing gloves, so it's working pretty good. I'm just going to keep using a brush to kind of get some of the liquid and kind of move it around on there. Okay, so this has been sitting on there. I'm going to use a little scrubby action and see if that's going to help. I would probably use an old scrubby. Okay, so the scrubby's working. Again, I'm not sure if some of this might be rust, so we might do some CLR, or it might just be coffee. But the coffee stains do seem to be coming off with that blue stuff. I'm going to go over to this. Again, I don't know if this is rust or just strictly coffee stains, you know. Again, anytime you're working on this appliance, just make sure it's unplugged. You don't want to be doing anything with this with it plugged in. So I'm going back to this. I've just used concentrated solution. So the solution does all the work. I'm just kind of using the brush to kind of brush it on, get it everywhere. It's kind of hard to, since you're not using a lot of solution, it's kind of hard to just get it everywhere. Okay, so first I'm going to start with the blue stuff here. We're just going to let it soak. So I've used about a quarter of, this is $5, so is this thing worth $5? I don't think I'm going to use the whole can, but you just got to do a cost analysis, see if you're going to waste too much time and energy trying to save. This is probably about a $19 coffee pot. So again, I'm using some of this solution. I'm getting it on the brush, and then I'm just this had a lot of coffee stains. Like I said, the solution does the work. Just getting it where it can do some good. You can get that solution on there, and it will actually dissolve that old coffee stain stuff. Now, if I get any solution, see, I'm getting solution down there, I'm going to rinse this out before I run my vinegar through it. So I'm getting some of that blue solution down in there. I don't want that going through the coffee machine. Okay, so the blue stuff is getting some of this, but I'm starting to see maybe this burner might be bad. I don't know much about burners, but maybe they kind of rust and go down through the burning element. So we're going to see. Okay, so you can see this stuff's really starting to eat away at the old coffee. I'm going to do a rinse. Now, when I rinse this, I'm going to be real careful. I don't want to submerge this thing in water. I just got to be really careful. I don't want to get water down in here, back here behind the heating element area. Okay, so I'm still not quite sure. This kind of looks like the burner might be bad, but now we're going to try some CLR on this. Okay, so CLR has to work a little bit. I got the heating element tray pretty well saturated, and we're going to see what it does. Okay, so one word of warning. So this is not like a cup. If you put liquid on here, it is going to run around the sides. You can see, so you got to be really careful. So I ended up just putting it on rags and letting it soak on there. So I think this is actually, it's pitted into the burner. I think that's actually rust from the burner. So I'm still going to see if it's going to work. And then so what I did for the outside had some burnt coffee on it, and you just take a paper towel. So this paper towel had a bunch of that blue stuff on it, and you just, like I said, the blue stuff does the work. If you just get it on there, let it soak a little bit, and then rinse it off or wipe it off with a wet rag, it looks almost brand new. Okay, so if you got any water down in that crack underneath the burner, I recommend letting it dry out first before you plug it in. I blew mine out, and then we're going to give it a try. So I'm ready to do the vinegar test now. I've got the stuff pretty well cleaned. I rinsed out the blue stuff that went down there. Now I'm going to run a bunch of vinegar through it. Okay, everyone, so I cleaned everything, all the plastic with that blue solution, cleaned the coffee pot. It came out really nice. The plastic looks brand new. Had to use a little CLR on the side of the coffee pot. Had some white watermark stains. So the burner, yeah, that does look like the burner might be bad, but I'm not sure. So the inside of it looks really clean. Okay, so now we're going to do the vinegar part. And it says we're going to put the basket in. It says put a filter in, even though we're not going to put any coffee in. And then we're going to use vinegar. We're going to fill it up to the 6 cup mark. So you can see it coming up there on the side. We're going to go all the way to the 6 cup mark. Okay, so that's going to take a little more vinegar than I had. Okay, so it says fill the back part up to 6 cups of vinegar. Then we're going to fill it up to the 10 cup mark with water. Okay, so I've got water up to the 10 cup mark, and I've got my coffee pot underneath there. I'm going to close the lid, and I'm going to brew it now. It says brew it down to the 5 cup mark. Okay, so it's starting to brew the vinegar, and once we get down to the 5 cup mark, you're going to stop the brewing process by hitting the on-off button, and then you're going to let it soak for 15 minutes. Okay, so we're at the 5-minute mark. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit the on-off button. I'm going to let it sit for 15 minutes. After the 15 minutes, then I'll turn the coffee pot back on and I'll brew it down the rest of the way. And then we're going to flush out. We're going to put a bunch of clean water in and flush out the vinegar. So we're going to do about 2 or 3 pots of coffee, just water. Okay, so I ran that full, ran the rest of it down after 15 minutes. I just want to show everybody the coffee filter. It's got a bunch of junk in it. that came out of that running that vinegar through. So you do get these things kind of clean. So I'm gonna put another filter in, and now I'm gonna run just a clean pot of water through it, and I'm gonna do this about 3 times. Okay, so I've ran a bunch of clean water through this, and amazingly, the burner actually works. I know it looks like crud, but it actually heats up really, really hot. So the burner is still working good. And the outside of this looks really nice. This thing cleaned up really, really nice. The coffee pot looks really nice. So the vinegar, 6 cups, basically equates to 32 fluid ounces. So that's basically one of these. I didn't use a whole bunch of CLR. I used about that much of that blue stuff. And I was able to revive this coffee pot, make it look like brand new. So again, this is Just a Dad. If you could please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.